こんにちは皆さん。お元気ですか? Welcome to the advanced course of my channel. Let's learn Japanese with Eric. In this lesson, we'll learn how to express to redo or do again in Japanese. よろしいですか? 始めましょう。The verb naosu by itself means to fix or to repair. But when naosu is used as an auxiliary verb, by getting attached to the conjunctive form of a verb, it means to redo or to do again, with a nuance in order to fix an earlier mistake. The verbs that can combine with naosu are active verbs, meaning those verbs that you consciously do on purpose. Now the new verb formed by the auxiliary verb naosu works just like any other verb, and you can conjugate it in all the modalities that we've learned so far. If you're new to my channel, it's helpful to review how to make the conjunctive form of verbs. Now if you know how to say the must form of the verb, simply drop the must and what's left is the conjunctive form. For example, if you have the verb tabemasu, meaning will eat, drop the must and the remainder tabe is the conjunctive form, which is then what you use to pair with naosu. But if you don't know the must form and you know the dictionary form of the verb, then here's how you form the conjunctive form. For category 1 or ru dropping verbs, we drop the ru ending of the dictionary form and what's left is the conjunctive form. For example, the verb miru, will see. Drop the ru and what's left is mi, and that is your conjunctive form. For category 2 or last hiragana changing verbs, we have 9 kinds of verb endings: kugusu, bumunu, rutsu, and u. These last hiragana endings of the dictionary form change to the I series, which are kigishi, bimini, richi, and I. And that's how you form their conjunctive forms. With category 2 verbs, we pay attention to just the last hiragana of the dictionary form. As for the 5 commonly used irregular verbs, the only verb that can combine with naosu is just suru, and its conjunctive form is shi. Kuru, iku, aru, and da do not participate in this conjugation. Let's look at some quick examples with some verbs combined with naosu. The number beside the verb is the verb category, so you'll know how to quickly form the conjunctive. To think is kangaeru. Conjunctive is kangae, and kangaenaosu. Kangaenaosu means to rethink. To build is tateru. Conjunctive is tate, and to rebuild is tatenaosu. Tatenaosu. To write is kaku. Conjunctive form is kaki. Kakinaosu. Kakinaosu means to rewrite. To pull an object is hiku. Conjunctive form is hiki. Hikinaosu. Hikinaosu means to pull again or repull. To read is yomu. Conjunctive form is yomi. Yominaosu. Yominaosu means to reread or read again. Tsukuru is to make, and its conjunctive form is tsukuri. Tsukurinaosu. Tsukurinaosu means to remake. To say something is you. Conjunctive form I. Inaosu. Inaosu means to say again or re-say. To do is suru. Conjunctive form is shi. Shinaosu. Shinaosu means to do again or redo. To wash is arau. Conjunctive is arai. Arainaosu. Arainaosu means to rewash. To study is benkyou suru. Conjunctive form, benkyoshi. 勉強し直す。勉強し直す means to restudy or study something again for the second time. Now let's look at sample sentences. The root verb is on the upper left of the screen, and we'll be using those verbs we looked at earlier. Yomu means to read, and yominaosu means to reread. And our sentence, Mada wakaranai kara yominaosu. Mada wakaranai kara yominaosu. Because I still don't understand it, I'll reread it. To write is kaku, and kakinaosu means to rewrite. Our sentence, 間違いを必ず書き直します。間違いを必ず書き直します。I, without fail, will rewrite mistakes or my mistakes. This can also be something that a teacher would say to students, in which case it translates to something like, you will always fix your mistakes. To pull something is hiku. Hikinaosu means to pull again or re-pull. Our sentence, スロットマシンを引き直したがまだダメでした。スロットマシンを引き直したがまだダメでした。I gave that slot machine another pull, but still no luck. To sit down is 座る and 座り直す. 座り直す means to sit down again or change your position or change the way you're sitting down. Our sentence, 行儀悪いから座り直せ。行儀悪いから座り直せ. Here we've conjugated 座り直す into 座り直せ, which is a rough command, something we learned to do in lesson 41. So the sentence literally means, because it's impolite, re-sit down. In other words, because it's impolite, sit down properly. Parents usually say this to their kids. 行儀悪いから座り直せ. To look is 見る and 見直す. 見直す means to relook or reconsider. We're going to use more advanced conjugations here. スケジュールを見直さなければなりません。スケジュールを見直さなければなりません. Here we've conjugated 見直す into the must conjugation, なければなりません, which you can review in lesson 63. スケジュールを見直さなければなりません. We must take a second look at the schedule, or we must re-examine the schedule. To make is 作る. 作り直す. 作り直す means to remake. ケーキは美味しいですよ。作り直さなくてもいいです。ケーキは美味しいですよ。作り直さなくてもいいです。We've conjugated 作り直す into 作り直さなくてもいい, meaning don't have to remake, and you can review this conjugation in lesson 52. ケーキは美味しいですよ。作り直さなくてもいいです。The cake is delicious, you know. You don't have to remake it, or we don't have to remake it. To think is 考える. 考え直す. 考え直す means to rethink. 旅行に行かないのを考え直してください。旅行に行かないのを考え直してください. We have several conjugations going on in this example. We have a verb clause, 旅行に行かない meaning not going on the trip, being nominalized by the particle no, which we learned back in lesson 44. And we conjugated 考え直す into 考え直してください, a request, which we learned to do back in lesson 39. 旅行に行かないのを考え直してください. Please rethink or reconsider about your not going on the trip. Our next example has a very long explanation, and you'll see why. To say means you, and inaosu means to re-say or say again. And our sentence, それをいい直させていただけませんか? それをいい直させていただけませんか? Again, we've got several conjugations combined in this one sentence. First, we've conjugated いい直す into the causative tense いい直させる, meaning to let me re-say it, which we discussed back in lesson 80. Then we combined it with an honorific, becoming いい直させていただく, meaning to receive the action of letting me re-say, and we studied this back in lesson 70. And then we do a shortcut ability conjugation with いただく, making it いただける. いい直させていただけます can receive the action of letting me re-say. Shortcut ability was studied way back in lesson 57. And finally, we finish it off as an invitation with ませんか, which we learned to make way back in lesson 34. それをいい直させていただけませんか? Literally, can't I receive the action of you letting me re-say it? In other words, won't you please let me rephrase it? It's just a fancy way to say, won't you let me say it again? In Japanese, the longer it is, the more polite, especially when we deal with honorific language. And our last example, to drink is nomu. Nominaosu, to drink again. Nominaoshimashou, kanpai. Nominaoshimashou, kanpai. We conjugated nominaosu into the volitional let's, which we learned back in lesson 34. Nominaoshimashou, kanpai. It means let's drink again, cheers, or bottoms up, cheers. So to summarize, in this lesson, we learned how to say to redo or to do again, with the nuance that it is for the purpose of fixing an earlier mistake. We do this by taking the conjunctive form of the verb and combining it with the auxiliary verb naosu, which by itself means to fix or repair. And that ends our lesson. 次のレッスンにまた会いましょう。頑張ってください。If you're serious about becoming fluent in Japanese, it's important to practice daily, learn grammar, and build up vocabulary. My whole course is designed to give you a strong basic foundation in the Japanese language that you can build solidly upon. So please click like, share, or subscribe and watch the next video in the series. 日本語の勉強に頑張ってください。じゃあ、またね。